Hello and happy 2026. Happy New Year. Welcome back to the Weekly Canon. I'm your host, Clayton, and it has been a while. The last podcast we did was post Everton away, which feels like an absolute lifetime ago. That was 1-0 to the Arsenal. And yeah, that was the last one we did, 22nd of December. We're back. Since then, yeah, it's been a while. We've beaten Palace in the Cup on penalties. We've beaten Brighton 2-1 at home. We saw Declan Rice as the marauding right back in that game. We then missed him at home to Villa, but we absolutely smashed them 4-1, put them in their box, sent Unai Emery running down the tunnel crying, the little fucking cunt. And then we beat Bournemouth 3-2 on the weekend. And to top it all off, Chelsea, the famous Chelsea, go and do us a favour. And City drop points in back-to-back games. Uncle Mike, how's that for a happy new year?
It's been good, isn't it? The last time we podded, Chelsea was still in a title race and had a manager, and United were apparently only 6 points off top and all that nonsense, and still had a manager. So, because the news is that Amarin's just been sacked. So
swear! Well, like
right
now?
Yeah. Half hour ago, just been sacked.
Yeah, I've not been on socials this morning. So
yeah,
man.
So,
it's Monday, 5th of Jan, so around 10:45 a.m.
Yeah. Shit. So he's gone, and we just got slot to go on Thursday after we smash Liverpool. So
that'll be down the tunnel like Emery as well.
That'll be nice, wouldn't it? So it's been good, and I think the main thing we focused on after the Villa defeat was how we bounced back from that, and it was so important not to, because I think this is what has killed our title challenges before. If you remember that the 16 out of the 18 game run,
yep.
What were the two games before that run that happened that killed us? It was the West Ham and it was the Fulham. Over Christmas. So everyone can point at it was the Villa game in between the Bayern Munich that killed us. It wasn't. It was those two games in that Christmas period, and you could hear it in Declan Rice's interview. He said, "This is a time of year where you just clock the points
just up keep winning."
Because it's such a small period of time, and it's amazing that it was only like 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks ago that we did pod, but
we've so much has happened, right?
So much has happened, and the turns and the twists in the title race have gone and our way, thankfully, and it's so. So I think it was so important for to get on this run, and we got an overview of it. But for me, I'm just so happy that we're sitting here in the position, because you said it. It's nice to be top of Christmas, but it's actually more. It's the new year, going into the new year, and I think that the way that we're looking as a team, as a club, and the stability that we've got with what's going on else around that is going to play a massive factor. So yeah, it's been a nice festive period, not ruined by football, which it could quite easily have happened, because there were so many potential banana skins, and there's so much to go into. But what was happening in all of those games, that we were Rice out, other players out, players back, players out of form, and so much had gone on, that we lost a player, we gained a player. So to be here where we are now is just good, feeling good.
Yeah, and like you said, there's been so many Decembers in the past and more Novembers where our seasons tend to capitulate, and I feel like we're getting stronger. Like I put in the title, we're purring again. Like it really feels like we are. We obviously didn't get a chance to pod before Villa, but you and I were speaking, and I was so confident we'd slap them, because Everton game, it's quite nice almost having a break from doing game by game, because when you look at it holistically, you can notice patterns and stuff. And like the Everton game was after the disappointing Wolves one, and the Everton one, I remember looking at feeling like that was a complete, I remember you said it, back to basics, complete back to basics. And I was looking at like the micromanaging of the players, excuse me, where they were pointing a centimetre to the left and where everyone should be. And then the Palace game, I'll be honest, I can't actually remember the game that well. I remember the penalty shootout. But then Brighton, it's like we started clocking up chances, and it was the clinical stuff was missing. Villa, we slapped 4 past them. Bournemouth, I know we we'll talk about that game, but like we're scoring 3 goals. It feels like we're purring. And in the month of December, we're getting people back. Like we're slowly getting that complete squad back. Like Havertz was back in the squad, I think, for Brighton or Villa, one of them. And then I know they were managing his load against Bournemouth. I'm not concerned about that. I think he'll be back in the squad for either Liverpool or Portsmouth and maybe even get minutes. And I feel fine about that. Jesus, we've seen, has returned since that Everton game where we podded. He's got minutes. Let's not talk about his performance on the weekend. But who else? Like the ability to, I called it that I said Madueke would come in for Saka this weekend. But the ability to do that, change the whole front three. Sorry, not the whole front three. Change Madueke for Saka and then make 3 subs in the forward line during the game. Someone like Eze, who hasn't got minutes at all in the last 4 games, which I know you tweeted, like we'll talk about it, but I remember about 18 months or 2 years ago speaking about what I want from an Arsenal squad to challenge for the league. And it was referencing Man City. For years, I looked at their bench and they'd have a Foden that wouldn't come on. They'd have a Grealish that wouldn't come on. They'd have a Bernardo that plays 4 or 5 games and doesn't play 2-3. That's what I think we finally got. And like, I don't really care that Eze isn't playing at the minute because, in my opinion, he doesn't deserve to. But there will be a period where he earns his shirt, the game suits him, and he thrives. And I'm okay with someone like that sitting out for a while. I really believed this was the game to give Saka a breather. And I feel really comfortable with Madueke as an option. And I thought he was fucking phenomenal against Bournemouth. His end product will come, but just his mindset and mentality and his arrogance and self-confidence to always take on his man is such a joy to watch, especially in this era of boring wingers in football, in my opinion. So holistically looking at it, like you said, it was how did we bounce back after Villa? We won against Bruges, Wolves, Everton, then drew against Palace in the normal time, but won on pens. And then we've beaten Brighton, Villa, Bournemouth, and now we've got Liverpool at home that aren't in a great moment. We've got Portsmouth in the cup, and then Chelsea in the EFL Cup as well. I say EFL just because it's listed like that on my phone. It feels very weird saying that. League Cup. But I was saying to a few mates, it's funny how the perception around Man City was a certain way, right? I think they won 5 games in a row in the league or something, or 6 or something. And we've now won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the league since Villa. And if we just beat Liverpool on Thursday, there's then a little gap where it's the FA Cup, the League Cup, and then we go to Forest again. And so just win 6 games in a row, extend the gap. At this point, it is literally just all on us. City have dropped points 2 games in a row. They have some horrendous away fixtures coming for the rest of the season. So I would say starting the year, we are in a very, 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 very good position on all fronts, which is, I think this is the strongest position I ever remember this club being in. Would you?
Well, you're going in. I agree. I mean, just as a side note, and there's a lot to come, but for the first time in a transfer window, we're probably looking, going, nah, don't need anything. There's always something that would be, for however long I can remember, 20 years, we're always 1 or 2 or 3 signings away from the paradise land, and so as long as we only need a DM or a goalkeeper or whatever, and it was always something. And yeah, of course, there's Arteta's going to leave his options open, and there's lots of time that we can talk about transfers for this month, and we're talking about Ethan, whether something like that could be a good loan deal. But what I'm saying is, your point about being strong, we're on firing on all fronts. We seem to have hopefully, you're fine tuning it. What City have done for years is they never, notoriously, they never start very well in a season. They're not. City never go 15 points ahead. They find their way, they click, and then they will, on the quiet, they'll put 5-6 game run. Then the next time you look at it, it's a 12 game unbeaten run, and they are purring, and they have got the options. And you couldn't be more right about the squad's depth, about the options that we've got. And we said it at the start of the season when we had Marino up front or Eze Gyökeres, and now you have got those options that you can bring on. And do you know the thing about for me on Saturday was the ability to bring on Jesus, Saka, and Trossard in one go. That must have been so demoralising and that's what we've seen other teams do for years, particularly Liverpool, particularly City, Chelsea to some extent back in the day. But I mean, how many times have we watched last year that Liverpool bring on, whether you could argue the quality of someone like a Nunes or whatever, but he was still a decent
He's still
option.
a nuisance, yeah.
Still an option and a chaos merchant. So he was still, and more importantly, he's taking minutes off of other players. And that's what I was so impressed by Madueke's attitude on Saturday, because that has sort of hung around him like a bit of a bad smell previously. That accusation of a bad attitude.
I think I've said it about him before myself.
Yeah, and it's what I think it's why we didn't go in for him at PSV. We didn't go in for him the first time at Chelsea. But you can see, you commented or shared the video of him on his after post-match interview, and he looks a real humble guy. I've heard stories that he's staying behind in extra training. He wants to learn, and we know Arteta does this. We know that Arteta will pick a project or pick a player and then give it a season. And this guy, the end product will come, but he's such an exciting player to watch. And I'm really, really glad that he's an Arsenal player. And because Saka, let's be right, Saka had a stinker against Villa, I think. But up until then,
well, finishing wise, anyway, his finishing.
Yes, yeah. Up until then, he's our best player. He's making the chances, he's getting shots, 5 shots on target. But against Villa, he didn't play particularly well, and that was a perfect opportunity to then sit him and say, "No, mate, we got a Liverpool game coming up. Noni, you're up next, mate. Now's your chance." Now, I didn't like his performance when he came on as a sub against Villa, Noni. I think the game just went. I think the game just ended because Eze came on as well, didn't he? He hasn't had no minutes.
Eze's had no minutes in 4 games now.
That's right. So when Noni came on, I think he was a bit lackadaisical, looked a bit sloppy, looked a bit half-assed, tried a fancy flick that led to an attack, and those things stick in Arteta's head. So for the fact that he had that, must have got a rocket up his arse, and he still came in, because that's what we need. We need players that they may sit for 4 or 5 games, and then they have to make an instant impact, because that's the squad that we've got now. We can't be carrying passengers. You have to come in like Trossard, bang, instant impact, and that's what. It's so really good to see Noni do that. So yeah, it's. And I agree, it's a very good opportunity to overlook the trends, because you can see the from the Wolves game to where we are against the Villa performance are so different. And it was just, we knew it was coming, but it was just the rest of the world to wake up to. Because I'm sorry, mate. Go on.
No, you go.
No, because you touched on it, is about the City narrative, and all I'm still. And you know what? I did notice there's starting a tide from last night where opposition fans are accepting that we're going to win the league.
Yep.
And I'm talking big troll accounts that banter Arsenal relentlessly. I think it's finally dawning on them that we are going to win the league. And that the City narrative of, when it's City, they always do it. Well, you said it. I've given you a bit of a hard time because you wrote off City, but you were right about they have got flaws. They're not the same City. There are weaknesses, and they've got exposed in the last 2 weeks, which is exactly what we need to see. So it gives me even more confidence that, yes, there is the juggernaut of City coming up behind you, and you do need to kill them off. But a 6-point gap at this stage, they've got potential injuries. I mean, the thing with them is, though, it's the 5th of January, so they can go and lay another 300 million now, if they need to.
And it sounds like they're getting Semenyo, right? But I don't
Yeah,
think that fixes what the issues are with them.
no, but I mean, Guardiola's been out, or looked like he got a bad injury.
Apparently,
Diaz,
Diaz went off injured as well. I didn't actually watch the game for it.
no, so Diaz as well. But then, they've got like the likes of Kovacic, Bob, Stones, Savinho. They're injured, but they're squad players. But they're two defenders. I mean, they could go and drop a bid for Gakey.
Maybe.
But
I still believe like I don't know. I feel like I finally they've got vulnerabilities. I got nervous because they put together that winning run, but the narrative I want to see is, do you remember after we beat Bayern Munich, everyone was saying no one wants to be the best team in November? Well, Man City were the best team in December, and that's it. They're done now. Like, so where's
yeah,
that narrative? I just want to.
yeah.
There's got a few guys in the chat. I just want to shout them out, and then we'll kind of move on to a few of the different subjects and stuff I've got listed. And if obviously, guys and girls in the chat, it's been a few weeks since we've been in, so I've got like a rough outline of things I want to cover. But if there's anything you want covered, any questions, whack them in the chat. We're going to be going until probably around 11:30, so half an hour more, 40 minutes or so. So whack them in. My mate Andrew's in, saying, lads, our rivals are in absolute disarray around us, and we keep marching on up the Arsenal, and Happy New Year. Like Maresca's got the boot. Well, I don't know if he got the boot or if he left, but he's no longer Chelsea manager in the time since we podded. You mentioned earlier about Amorim. I think things are on the brink for Slot at Liverpool. I'll be surprised if he makes it through the season, if I'm honest, the way that's trending at the minute. Spurs are Spurs, which is always funny, even if they're not really relevant to us right now. We've got Christopher Tellers in from Kenya. Good afternoon, lads. What a week to be an Arsenal fan. Top of the league with a 6-point gap while rivals keep slipping and sacking managers. He also says we're 15 points better off than we were in the same fixtures last season. We were great the season before that, and we're now 7 points better off than that. Fucking hell. I didn't know that bit. We're 7 points better off than the season before last.
I think it's also, isn't it better than the Invincible at this stage?
I've heard that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard
so we're in a great shape, and that's all we can ask for at this stage.
Yeah. Chris also says if we can manage to replicate the results in the remaining fixtures, we'll finish on 89 points, which should be enough. But I really want us to beat City at the Etihad. On that, I'm the same. Like, I don't believe the title is dependent on the result at the Etihad, but for the noise and the surrounding narrative, Kevin Keegan, I would love it if we go there and fucking beat them. Like, I want us to slap Liverpool silly on Thursday, and come the Etihad, I want us to beat them. You remember that 4-1 a couple years ago, the Rob Holding, like it was boys v men. I believe, I think I can't remember if I said this on a pod. This Man City team reminds me of us 2 years, the surprise title challenging year. They very pretty but weak. And I want us to go and fucking knock them out. Like jab, hook. I want them to hit the canvas. And I believe if we arrive in the right moment at the Etihad, I think we can do that. So I'm with you, Chris.
I just want to say on that, because that game reminds me when Haaland, the cheeky fucker, unpinned his ponytail after he scored and started running down the pitch. I think Declan Rice is growing a ponytail. Have you seen the state of his barnet?
I like his body.
I like it, but he's growing it, man. So I think by the time we get to April, I want Deckers to have a ponytail, have it in a ponytail. He scores 3 set-piece goals. We beat him 3-0, and he runs down with it and unveils his ponytail. That's going to be a huge game, and I think, yes, I agree. I want us to put on a lesson in that game, and we owe them. Them.
So listen to this, right? The build up to that game. Let me pick where I'd start this from for my own narrative. But okay, narrative aside, the 3-4 games before that, we have. Well, I've lost it. Sorry. Oh, so just before Man City, 18th of April, we got Bournemouth at home. Before that, we have Wolves away. Before that, Everton at home. Before that, Brighton away. Before that, Chelsea at home. Then before that, Tottenham away. But like, there's a string of games there that I believe we can really build momentum going into that. And then wait for this. their games leading into that, because I'm a big believer in momentum in football. And listen to their fixtures before that. Directly before it, the week before, they got Chelsea away. Before that, Palace at home. And even though it's at the Etihad, Palace give them problems. West Ham away. You never know what's like. I know West Ham are shit right now, but they could be fighting for their lives. Forest, Leeds away, Newcastle. Like, they're going to be I don't think they'll be arriving into that game on a 4-game winning run. Let me just say that. And I believe that could be a huge sliding doors moment. And I don't know, almost like I don't want to get ahead of myself, but even though mathematically it won't be done, could that be the psychological? Yeah, that's the nail in the coffin if we do that right. Andrew says he's hoping some apathy now sets in with other teams and they feel beat before we play them. It's helped City out for years. Yeah, I think we did have that a couple of years ago where we were slapping teams and emptying stadiums, right? So yeah, let's see. I don't know. I don't want to get carried away, but it's hard not to when you just see the kind of holistic view of where we are at, the players we're getting back, looking like things are tweaking and changing. And one thing I did want to say, like, I believe there has been a little tweak in stuff. Like, you and I were both a little bit critical about Ødegaard in a pod. I can't remember which one, right? But like, I believe there's been an instruction on him to have less touches on the ball. And sure, if he's going to go drop and facilitate things deep, like I do believe we've seen the Rice Zubimendi thing moving around. I know against Villa we didn't have Rice, but the Brighton game for me was a significant tactical tweak of Ødegaard. You get the ball, 2 touches max. You play it out. And like he was creating gaps and distances between him and Saka. And he's playing really well. And that's all. Again, you hit it perfectly, because I think I almost phrased it as a concern around the player, whereas you positioned it as like, what do you want from the position? And that is exactly what I've been seeing. I've been seeing what I want from that position recently, where it's, I don't want 100 touches. We're not that team anymore. And I believe that's tweaked, and that has influenced part of my confidence in our attack as well. I don't even think Bournemouth was us being amazing, but I never felt in jeopardy. I can't remember if it was you that texted me this or some mates, like squeaky bums towards the end. I was fine. I was more than fine. And like, my level of confidence right now in us is very, very high. And it's not, I'd like to say it's not naive and it's not delusion. It's based on evidence of what I'm watching with my eyes week in, week out. And I just wanted to point on that with Ødegaard, because I think he's been fantastic, but I do think there has been a little tweak. How do you kind of see that?
Yeah, I wanted to bring that, and I'm glad that you did, because we did frame it around the position. We were trying to frame it was never as a criticism of Ødegaard, who we both believe is a fantastic player. I do agree. I think there has been a tweak. And it helped with that week off, didn't it? We had that week off, where we had the break, and you could see that after that they seemed to be a little bit more cohesive. And they're intelligent players, these guys, Zubimendi and Ødegaard and Saka and Rice. They're highly intelligent players. It just seems that the fluidity is back, the flow is back. The Martin Ødegaard popping it off, a couple of little shimmies, bang, dead, bang, off you go. The perfectly weighted through balls that he's playing, the shots that he's taking with power, played a little bit more centrally, not so close to Saka, not so close to Zubimendi, doing it when he needs to do it, not doing it because it's the Martin Ødegaard team. And that's all we wanted to see, and long may it continue, because if we're going to win this league, we need the Martin Ødegaard that's back to how he was at his best 2 years ago. But the difference is we are now not a single point of failure Martin Ødegaard team, and that's all that we wanted. So there's going to be a time where he's going to have a dip. That's when you can drop in Eze. You can drop in Havertz will probably play some minutes there, so it's really, really good to see. And it's so nice to see that relationship with Saka getting up a bit more fruitful, because for a while it wasn't. So they were either too close or just not in the right lanes. So, it's important that we're getting back.
Yeah, well said. You mentioned the words single point of failure, and I think I've always had a concern that Declan Rice is one. But it shows he's not. We slapped up Villa without him, so we don't need him. Jokes aside, the level he is playing at the minute is an absolute joke. IBK Max is in the chat, says, I love Declan Rice. What a guy. I'm going to ask you a question. If we win the Premier League, if we win big ears and Declan Rice continues to perform at the level he's at, who should get the Ballon d'Or instead of him?
It won't be an Englishman.
No,
it won't be an Englishman. I know what you're saying, but that piece of shit is been irrelevant for me.
Sorry. When you said it won't be an Englishman, I thought you meant if it's not him, it won't be anyone else that's English.
No, so yeah,
you just don't think an Englishman at full stop will win it.
No, and I don't give a fuck about that shit anyway, mate. Because the year that they robbed Thierry Henry from that
Pavel Nedved,
yeah, man, fuck it's a fuck. So that means nothing since then. It's just a popularity contest, and it's more for me. It's more for the FIFA generation.
Can I ask you a different question then?
Yeah. Should we build a statue of Declan Rice if we've been?
No. Compare. Where does he stand in comparison
do you know what I was
to
going to
Big Paddy
say?
V?
I wanted to bring that up.
Go on. You've done the miles.
I wanted to bring that up. He is the closest thing we've had to Paddy Vieira, and
I agree.
If we do what we hope and dream that we can do this season, then he is then mentioned in the same sentence as in he is on par with Vieira, because he's doing.
I just wanted your opinion, because obviously you're older, right? So
it's a very there's some players that you just can't, that you can very easily compare players to players, and it's so hard because it's different eras and it's different tactical things and all that kind of stuff. But what Vieira could do with and there's what Vieira could do with a pitch, Rice can do it, if not more. There's the comparisons. It's nice to see that the Caicedo comparisons have been put to bed, because that's
I do think Caicedo is a good player, but
he's a very good. He's a very good player. He's a very good player, but as you say, there's levels.
It is like, I find it insulting, the comparisons, because Caicedo is good. Declan Rice is out of this fucking world. Declan Rice can do what Caicedo can do and more. Caicedo can only do a proportion of what Rice does, and he does it well, but he can't do the rest. Like, this guy is the closest thing I've seen to Steven Gerrard.
I was going to say that, because you're now getting the comparisons with
we got the kiss on the camera. That sealed it for me.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. We just need a screamer in an FA Cup final. For Rice.
He's capable. You can see it.
And talking, a very, very random one, but talking FPL about Rice, he's the second most highest scoring player. And that's not just, you'll get chucked in it, it's set pieces or whatever. Yes, there are.
He's popular.
But this guy, and it's that's what I like to see. And that's the combination of Ødegaard, that pass to Saka, and the cutback to Rice. Rice can do that all day long.
Yeah.
That's a little move that we've started, that you could potentially see that you can do every game.
Yep.
That's sustainable. That's a move that you try stopping that. I did like. I know we're going to get onto it, but Gyökeres' role is.
I liked him on Saturday.
I just think the expectations for this guy are getting lower
for sure
by the week. But we're now backing him for just occupying defenders in the box, but that's where we are, right? I don't want, if we're sitting top of the league on the 5th of January, looking how strong that we are, and you're top of the Champions League, and you're in the semi-finals of another competition, I'm not going to be in the business of slacking off my striker for the sake of slacking off my striker. We can have that discussion at the end of the season when we've got silverware, we haven't got silverware on the table, and then we could judge how many goals he scored at the end of the season. But for now, yes, did I want to see him score more goals? Absolutely, of course. I think we all did. But I don't think it's conducive to our, as a club, to get on his back. I think Arteta loves him.
Do you think?
I do, because I think it's the work rate. He's a. I mean, I've seen stuff going around, and we can have the Jesus conversation, right? When Jesus comes on, yes, he's silky. Yes, he's an Arsenal player on the eye. But is the control there? Is he pinning defenders in a back? That now I want more from my striker than just pin defenders. So let's get, I want my striker to be scoring 15, 20 goals. But he is doing a role, and I'm looking at it from Arteta's eyes. If this guy can occupy defenders for 60 minutes and be the battering ram, now you can say, well, you spent £55 million on a battering ram. Is he just another, Nketiah or whatever? But it's to bring different things into his game. You saw that what he did with those 4 defenders on Saturday. They did have to occupy him. He does pin them back. We've seen many a game where we haven't had a focal point at Arsenal, or your focal point up top is Marino, and then it goes very stodgy, very, very quickly. If you haven't got that outlet, that's allowing. We know that we're an orchestra, Arsenal. We are a choir. We're a collective. So if this guy is doing his role, and his role it just happens to be, okay, you'll just keep banging up there, mate, keep banging up there, because by doing that, you're allowing Declan Rice the space to come in there and be the killer. You're allowing Saka to do that. You're allowing Ødegaard to do that. You're distracting a player for Zubimendi to make that beautiful one that he made the other day. You're allowing Trossard to do his thing. I think I'm saying it again, I want to see more from him, absolutely. But I'm judging him where we are as a club at the moment and his role in getting us there. This guy played every single minute for 3 months. If he didn't, we'd be having Marino up front for 3 months. And do you think we'd be top of the league now if we played Marino every single minute? The amount of minutes that we played Marino, that we played, we've run Gyökeres into the ground, and he's just done a job to keep. You can't play for Havertz 3 times a week. You can't play Jesus 3 times a week. This guy's role now is just to take minutes, and depending on the combination of the other attackers on the field, that's okay for me at the moment. I'm not going to get too heavy on him.
I've been encouraged. Like you said, the bar is on the floor, but against Villa, there was one move he did where he got himself in front of the defender and he headed it wide. Could have maybe done better to get it on target. And again, the bar's on the floor, but comparing to what I've seen of him before, where he has been a bit of a statue, I was like, okay, he's learning. He's learned from his mistakes. He's trying to do something about it. On Saturday, I thought his first touch was a bit better. And I'm kind of with you, to be honest. While everything around the club is going well, I don't want to go out of my way to kill this guy. He hasn't done well so far, but I'd rather look for the things that I think are improving than focus on the things I've done to death, because it's a bit tiring. Don't get me wrong. If he stinks the gaff out, I'm not going to go looking for, oh yeah, he did a 4-yard pass. But we won a big game. We won an important game. And I think there were signs that I liked about him on Saturday. And I liked a couple bits of his movement against Villa. And I hope we're in a position where Jesus, Havertz and Gyökeres are all fit for a good prolonged period, because I do think we will get the best of him in specific game states and stuff. And I believe I'll put my neck. I don't think there's a putting your neck on the line, but I'll make a prediction. I do believe there will be a stretch where he scores in 3-4 games in a row and he gets a couple break. I believe he will score goals in important moments this season. Same for Eze, by the way. I believe Eze will have a spell where he is very important and his performance levels are consistent. It's okay that hasn't happened in January yet. I feel very relaxed about everyone. Even Ethan, I feel relaxed about his situation. We can talk about it. Send him on loan. Hopefully play him against Portsmouth. Play him against Kairat. If not, if Kairat's cutting it too close to the deadline, send him on loan. It's fine, man. It's really not that deep. I don't know why our fans are trying to make a meltdown out of everything. He's a young kid that has been unfortunate, that's found himself in this environment where the quality is the highest it's ever been. But I would rather take that, giving us the highest probability of winning 4 competitions, than upsetting the feelings of an 18-year-old, no matter if he's one of our own. If we want to be a big club, you have to fucking act like it. So, I don't know. People have been pissing me off with the toys out of the pram around Ethan, in my opinion. Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, he's a great talent. it is what it is. Like, the best thing with the cards we've got at the minute is to send him on loan, make sure he gets minutes, reassess in the summer. Like, what's the big fucking deal?
Someone like Palace or Bournemouth, I think, would be a good option for him. You want him with a decent manager.
Who'd you say? Sorry, I heard you say Palace.
Palace or Bournemouth.
Yeah, agree.
Someone like that. But I just quickly go back to Gyökeres. I think that you read out those games before the City game. That screams of a little run from Gyökeres to score 3 or 4 goals in that run just to push us. You like some West Hams. Who else you got? You got a couple of. Who else was in there? There was
So let me just read out this whole run after Chelsea second leg League Cup. Yeah, so it's from the 7th of Feb. Sunderland home, Brentford away, Tottenham away, Chelsea home, Brighton away, Everton home, Wolves away, Bournemouth home, Man City away, and then after that, Newcastle home, Fulham home, West Ham away, Burnley home, Palace away. He will finish the season strong, because
I can see him picking up goals in. I can see him picking up goals in any one of those games. And I think the more you have, it's not rocket science. The more time he has with these players, Declan Rice has said it himself, and you come to Arsenal, it's a completely different language. And this guy. I am a little bit annoyed about he's constantly throwing himself on the floor. I think he thinks it's Portugal when he's going to get
he's on
the
super box.
He's not getting anything to get given again. I don't want that to be a thing. I think he needs to try and stay up a little bit more. We had that one where he tried to win that penalty where he sort of collapsed on the line, and he could have been a little bit, wasn't it? Wolves game? Well, no.
I think that one was hard. Like, I don't believe that was a pen, but I don't think he tried to. But I just think it was an awkward one where if you're bent a certain way and get knocked on the hip, like, your balance is gone.
Yeah.
Speaking of, by the way, that fucking prick Adley trying to headbutt Gabriel's out. And also, did you listen to commentary?
Yeah. So what? No,
fucking hell. This Dan
man.
What's his name?
Yeah, Dan Goodman. He's an absolute.
He's not fucking good enough. Jesus,
no.
He's shit, mate. He's one of the worst I've ever heard.
He's so bitter. I've listened to him before. He hates us. Hates us.
A, never heard of him. B, never listened to a game that he's commentated. I don't know if I've just always been at the game or but I didn't know him, and I was like, I was trying not to be on my phone during this game, and I was like, what is going on with this commentary? And then I just went on WhatsApp, messaged a couple mates, and everyone was saying the same thing. And then a couple people sent me some stuff he's done before. And, like, mate, the blatant bitterness and pure hatred and bias. Like, I remember on corners, he was, and these are how narratives start, because I think when you say the word propaganda, people think of fucking Hitler. And, like, propaganda is a thing without it being World War shit. Like, propaganda is the ability to influence people through media. That's what is happening. Like, when you're saying the referee's allowing Arsenal to take an age on set pieces, people pick up on that, even if it's not factually true. Like, my mate Andrew is he's a bit of a clock watcher for how long goalies hold the ball, 8 seconds, and he said I can't remember if it was Petrovic or another game did it for 25 seconds, but nothing. I've watched other managers step out of their technical area and not a single thing has been said. But with Arteta, it's the big song and dance. And it's like, that's how this thing starts. And, mate, the thing at the end with Adley, I think was his name, I promise you, if that was one of ours, you're not hearing the fuck of end of it. That's cheating. That is absolute cheating. And, Andrew said it was Petrovic took 30 seconds to take a goal kick on 92 minutes, but he didn't want to mention that. It's so true. Like, I know we have our biases, mate. I don't even think this is bias. I genuinely think it was crystal clear. Even a neutral would have picked up on this one.
Yeah, so I didn't listen to the commentary specifically. I'm doing it more and more, and I'm just doing it for every game now, because even like the likes of Alan Smith, it still pisses me off. Unless it's Keown. I like Keown. Good old Bar, he loves, he's probably a bit too biased and he pisses off everyone else. But I don't give a shit about that. So I just sync up the app
I
I have
saw
this.
Adrian Clark tweeted out about that because
Yeah,
he said
so
a
I have
lot
it.
of people got
Yeah, it's
commenting
really,
about
really good because it's a biased Arsenal commentary, and
it. We should
so
start doing
that's
watch-alongs.
yeah, so that's what I want. That's what I want. It's a biased Arsenal commentary. So why are you putting yourselves in the hands of the Northwest media and those fucking assholes to drive your narratives? That the problem is, it still won't. It will enhance your viewing experience, but it doesn't stop the narratives that are being driven by everyone else watching that shit and all of that stuff. But it will just make it better for you. So
Yeah,
I highly recommend it.
I'm gonna
Just
start
have
doing
it,
that.
just
Like,
have it on. The only thing it is a little bit difficult to sync. Not difficult, but you've got to sync your TV with your phone. I do it that way, so I just press it on because the TV normally starts quicker, and then you have to pause that, and then you have to sync up. But he says at the start of the game, and here we go. So that's the time to sort of sync it. So
yeah, no, I need to do that because even just on general media, like it's in the fucking toilet, man. Some of these, I know we're a fan-led podcast, but I'd like to think we try and have normal conversations and we're not trying to rage bait people and stuff. But
oh
like
well,
some of
Paul Scholes talking about Tonali's a better player than Declan Rice.
yeah, but I don't
That's a
know.
prime example.
Some of the weapons they get on Sky now, like with the fan analysis stuff, and like it's just, I feel very disconnected to the world of football right now to the point where I really like my little echo chamber. And I know people say in life you should never really do that, but for football's meant to be enjoyment for me. And I enjoy talking to certain types of people and I dislike talking to certain types of people. And like I used to always watch the pre-match stuff because I used to learn from it, like Monday Night Football and stuff. But I think now the amount of good content out there that you can learn from fans that never played football at the top level, I don't watch any of the pre-match shit because it just pisses me off now. And I used to watch that religiously.
Did you see that Villa fan on he was on the fan analysis on Sky, and he come on there and he was like, this is before our game, the morning of our game, and he was like, I wouldn't take a single player out of Arsenal in our 11.
Yeah, I saw that. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Stuff like
It's
that.
that
Like,
it's that bollocks that you have to deal with. So we've
yeah.
got currently on Sky. It's Jamie O'Hara. So
Oh,
there's another absolute grade A. He is. So yeah.
Sums it up. Chris, it says, you guys having biased opinions is expected, though, because you're fans. It becomes so jarring when pundits and commentators who are meant to be impartial choose to have their biases in discussions. Yeah, I think that's spot on. I just want to cover...
Well,
sorry,
yeah, sorry. It's like, Chris says it's like the worst for that is like watching Carragher commentate on a Liverpool game is an awful experience because that is just like watching a fan TV. So yeah, it is. I think I understand why they. I mean, 10, 20 years ago, it was almost you never knew who. You had suspicions, but they didn't openly come out and say who they supported.
Yeah, that's true. There's been a shift
So
with that.
it's been a real shift to sort of like, oh yeah, like Michael Richards. There was a clip I think of Cabgo doing the rounds yesterday of Sterling and Richards, and they were after a game talking about a game, and they're both Arsenal fans at heart, even though they both played for City and Chelsea or whatever. So you do have certain players that wear it with chest, and you have others that don't. But you can wear it with chest, but still commentate on another team's game objectively. I think, and that is something that sadly they're not doing at the moment.
Yeah, agree. I'm obviously not going to be able to get to many more games, so I shall be doing the syncing up of the commentary. My final two games are going to be Liverpool at home, and I got myself a Chelsea away in the cup.
Oh,
That's a little taste.
That's a bloodbath, that is, mate. That's going to be a bloodbath.
I will bring the knives. I will bring the knives.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a joke for any police watching. Are you good if we turn attention to Thursday? Have a look to Liverpool. Yeah, I mean, the mood going into this is that I want blood. Like you talk about Chelsea being the bloodbath. I want this to be like City last year, 5-1 at home. Was that last year or the season before?
Last season. Yeah.
Mate, they are not good. I caught a little bit of their game yesterday against Fulham, but like, I was in and out. I can't promise that I can't say that I was properly watching it, but like they've quietly put together a little run themselves. So like since that period where they lost 3 in a row, City, Forest, PSV, they've not lost actually. So like they beat West Ham after that. They then had 2 draws. They then won 4 in a row, and now they're on the back of 2 draws. But I just think as much as they haven't lost since the 26th of November in the Champions League, 22nd of November in the league, the feeling amongst them is like there's a crack there ready. If you get a hammer, the walls will come breaking down. And I want us to do that on Thursday. I believe they're in a papering over the cracks moment. And I believe we can really rip the Band-Aid off, in my opinion. So what's your feeling going into the game before we kind of go into team news? And we can't do team news.
No,
Actually.
well, we definitely are, don't we? I think, and what I love about Arteta, is he's a revenge merchant.
Can I just interrupt you? Sorry. My mate Tev's a Liverpool fan. It's the most shameless, unbeaten run ever. We're shit. Unai Emery.
He's a revenge merchant. So we want revenge for that 1-0 Anfield game. And I also think he will want revenge for the criticism that he received, rightly or wrongly. I think we agreed that he chose the wrong lineup on the day, and he could have been a little bit more creative. And I want us to put on a show. I want us to, and there's always plenty of goals in this fixture. So yeah, I think it could be a statement game, and that's what I want. I want us to rip them apart. They're not, but Liverpool will show up. Whether they're in a really shit frame of form, they will still show up. So I think they still have some pride in that team. Yeah, but it's the Ekatike was out. They're talking about possible hamstring injury. Could be a strain.
Slot said he's hopeful he'll be back for Thursday.
Yeah.
A hamstring?
Yeah, I don't. Well, they said it was a hamstring, but then it was DOMS.
Okay.
The muscle ache or whatever, and they'd done a scan on it, and it was a little bit worse than that.
Do you know the breakdown of the acronym DOMS for anyone that doesn't know? Because we have got a physio in the chat, Pontus, who's just joined.
Pontus is just in time.
Delayed onset muscular soreness.
Yeah. So that's yeah. I mean, Gakpo's back. Obviously, they do have injuries.
Yeah.
I still think we have got enough. I think it's going to be a huge night. I'm very jealous if we go in. Then there's going to be I don't know if it's sort of a tifo, but there's stuff that the club are doing.
There's
it should be
fan-led.
It should be a cracking atmosphere. And I'm confident.
Score prediction? We'll do it reverse today. We'll do score predictions and then what you think the team will be.
3-2 Arsenal.
Oof.
Yeah. I'm worried about our clean sheets. I'm worried about our clean sheets.
Well, why is a stupid question? We haven't got one, but
it's a huge having Gabriel back, and that's so important to have him back. I just think, I'm hoping that we don't slip into what City were doing, where they'd beat teams and then they would always, it's the last minute ones, these last minute goals that we had with the sort of the Wolves and the Sunderland, being pegged back in certain games. And I thought we sort of got that out of my system. But Gabriel, as soon as we went off the Villa game, they got their goal.
What was he doing for the
XG that they recorded in that last 5 minutes, Villa was more than they had, and even So I'm just, even the Saturday's goal, that was their XG. I think it was the only team there's 3 teams that have got more XG, and Bournemouth on Saturday was one of them, but obviously it's huge XG with the initial one. So yeah, I'm not confident. I can't sit here and say we're going to be delivering clean sheets out anymore until I see a bit more of the Gabriel. Is he playing full 90s? Because it seemed to be as soon as we're going off, do we need to be bringing Ødegaard on a little bit more to shore it up at the back? That's what I want to see. But yeah, 3-2.
I'm with you on the clean sheets, but I'm not concerned. I just think this is going to be what is it, including Bournemouth, 9 games in Jan across 4 competitions. I think just get the wins on the board, no matter how, and just get through the month of January, arrive in February, and then that's when you start getting into the Champions League. And hopefully, I know congestion won't ease up, but I just think right now the volume is the highest it will be in the whole season. And I think there, by nature, you will concede goals. So I'm not too concerned about that. In terms of my score prediction, I can see a world where it is a 3-2 with you, but I'm more with Chris, who thinks it will be a 3-1 and that the scoreline will be flattering for them, to the point where I kind of want to say I'm with you. I think we are much better than them, and our manager is much better than theirs. And I think we're in a very good moment, health-wise, people coming back, the ability to power up from the bench. I think all of those factors over the 90 will influence the score, which I do think will be a relatively comfortable win. But they're the champions, and they're not going to want to get embarrassed. Like, I know no team wants to get embarrassed, but I do believe these big teams in particular step it up a level in these big games where the narrative going into the game is they're shit, we're amazing. And I do think they'll show a better face of themselves than they have in the last few games. I still think we'll overpower them. So I'll go 3-1 as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. If there's a streak of 10, 15 minutes and a ridiculous level of clinical finishing, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the 4-1 or the 5-1 from City at home last year. But I'll go 3-1 for the sake of the prediction. In terms of team, like, we obviously recording this on Monday, so doing this pre-presser, so unaware if there's any injuries or anything. But would you make any changes to the starting 11? Like, obviously I'm guessing Saka comes back in for Madueke, but it feels harsh that Madueke maybe doesn't start again.
Yeah,
what do you think the team will be?
I think it's the standard. You go across, it'll be. I don't think Calafiori's ready or will be back, so
Okay.
I think it'll be Hincapié.
I like him at left back, by the way.
Yeah, he's a left back, isn't he? He's a left back.
And one thing we never got to spoke about, Calafiori's performance at centre back against Brighton, fucking unbelievable.
That's why you need to. That's what you just need to do. That swap, don't
Just
you?
swap it round.
Swap it round, and it looks so much different. He's got the physical presence, so he's a miss. But I think I'll go Raya, Timber, the big boys at the back, Hincapié, Zubimendi, Rice. It'll be the Zubimendi, Rice, Ødegaard midfield, which is looking good. Saka, Trossard.
Okay.
And I will go Gyökeres.
Only change. Oh, I was gonna say this isn't what I would do. I wouldn't be surprised if Arteta picks Martinelli. I feel like he likes him in this fixture, but no, I'll stick with that. I think Arteta will opt for Martinelli in this game against Liverpool.
The reason I think it's a good bomb squad to bring on though is Martinelli and a Jesus as an impact players, whether you're chasing or pushing. Tired legs, they haven't particularly got many options at that position. So I think you could go on.
Can I tell you my curveball? Would not be surprised. Thursday, 6:45 p.m. lineup drops. Front three is Saka right, Madueke left, Gyökeres up top. I just believe Madueke played so well on Saturday. Saka, he's coming back in. But we've seen Madueke play off the left against, was it Leeds or Forest? I think it was Leeds. And he did really well. And I just think having he's a threat. No matter his off-the-ball work, his inconsistency and end product, he is a threat. He brings chaos. He brings nervousness in a back line. And I think you need that. So my prediction will be Martinelli. I wouldn't be surprised or upset if I saw Madueke on the left. Similarly, could be Trossard, and it's also great. Throw enough darts, one will hit.
And I just do like the Trossard-Gyökeres relationship, though. I think there's something building there and so he always loves his combo. So for me, it's a Martinelli Jesus combo, and it's a Trossard Gyökeres combo. I do, but if you throw Madueke into the mix on that side, then that's all well and good. But Victor's got to get on his front foot if he's doing that, because he will be whipping those balls in, and he can't be hanging back. So I'd like to see that at some point, whether Gyökeres is completely fine-tuned enough to get the most out of that at the moment, but that's what he's there for. He's got to. But I just do like those combinations that we mentioned.
Yeah, nicely done. We'll leave it there. I've got one question that I want to ask you, but Ethan Nwaneri is a talking point I think we should do post Liverpool as we preview the Portsmouth game, if you're good with that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah,
I think that will naturally
that'll be interesting. Yeah.
But just to leave it here, my mate Tev, who's the Liverpool fan, says we're getting annihilated. We got outplayed by 9 men Spurs. You're good. Hashtag slopball. The question I wanted to ask was from someone called KLXCH99. And this was when we were talking about Declan Rice. And his question is McTominay the best backup for Rice over Ruben Neves? I don't see Ruben Neves at all similar, but I like that. I think it's a very difficult profile to find. I do think McTominay is. I would be happy with McTominay in the Arsenal squad. Let me just say that. And I'm with this guy or girl. I think it probably is one of the most unusual backups out there, but I can't think of someone else that's better suited.
Scottish El Neni.
You're not a fan, though.
No.
No. I like him. I really like him.
He's doing good, but what was he going to? He's not going to come to Arsenal to be this is hypothetical, obviously, but he's not going to come to Arsenal to play backup, and he's winning the league in Italy.
No, of course, it was. I like the question because I think it prompted a thing in my head of like
it's a profile of player. It's the profile of player, isn't it? Because Norgard is not and never has been signed as Declan Rice's backup. But we go back to single point failures. Is there a player that can back him up, or is there you've just got to have another player in that squad? 2 players that can do what one player can do. I just don't think he's probably the one player that if you did take him out, really could derail us, and that's why I was a bit worried with his knee injury. But yeah, we've managed to put someone in that when you're putting backups in, they're never going to be as good because like a Madueke for a Saka, like a Hincapié stepping up, like a Mosquera. But can you find someone, and he could do that, McTominay, in a hypothetical world as that sort of player. But yeah.
Yeah, lovely stuff. We will leave it there. Are we podding Friday?
Yes.
Nice. All right, we'll confirm the time. So, games on Thursday. We then play Portsmouth Sunday. So, if we can do a Friday review of Liverpool and preview Pompey, that would be good. Although Portsmouth's pitch was frozen over the weekend, so we'll see if that even goes ahead with the state of the weather in this country.
Yeah, we could do without that being postponed, couldn't we?
Yeah. But we'll leave it there. Nice, just under the hour. Like, conscious we didn't go into detail about Bournemouth or the other games, but it just felt like where we haven't podded for 3-4 weeks. It was pre-season, get the cobwebs off, and then back into the flow of things. New year. We're 6 points clear at the top. 6 points clear at the top. Semi-finals of the League Cup, FA Cup third round kicks off next weekend, and we're in the big ears. I was going to say we're basically done, aren't we, in the league phase of the Champions League? So got a couple games left against Inter and Kairat, but all in good shape. Players coming back, so fingers crossed. It is a very big 2026 for the Arsenal. Great to be back. Thanks as always for everyone live in the chat. Uncle Mike, I will see you Friday. Up the Arsenal.
Come on, you Reds.